And hello and welcome to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host. And as always, it's so great to have you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope you enjoy the show. Well, we're going to highlight a wonderful actor, director, teacher, and writer. Her name is Katcher, and she is my guest today. And Kate, thanks so much for being here. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for inviting me.
What I like to do in the beginning of the show, which I do with everybody, is to introduce the guest to the viewer. So why don't you take a moment and take us back into your background. Tell us about yourself.
Oh, good Lord. When Hector was a pup, I went to school for acting, graduated from Boston University's theater school in 1973. So that'll give some context here. And then about 50 years later, I decided to go back and get my master's degree in playwriting, which I did right here in Connecticut at Western Connecticut State University. And that was an amazing experience. Anyone who's on the fence, I highly recommend going back to school. It is enlightening and amazing to go back with a different perspective. When you go through school the first time, you're doing it to get the grades. You're doing it because you need to get a job. When you go back as an adult, it's all about you. It's all about learning. It's all about enriching your own life. And so the experience was a totally different experience than my early school years.
I have a lot of performers that watch the program. That's what we deal with, arts, entertainment, and culture. And you had mentioned acting. And your resume that I've seen on the website has a tremendous amount of acting. Did you think when you were a child that you would pursue being an actress?
Oh my God, yes. I mean, I was, I think, 10 years old when I got to play Lola in Damn Yankees. That was disgusting. A 10-year-old girl taking off her clothes to seduce a baseball player. But all throughout high school, I had a marvelous, marvelous English teacher and drama teacher who inspired and encouraged, coached me for my college auditions, and opened up an incredible world.
From there, why did you decide as an acting undergrad to go into playwriting as your master's?
I had been teaching acting at the university level, and I was teaching at Bridgeport University, which is a private university. And I was enjoying it, and I wanted to teach more. So I went over to WestConn and interviewed with the head of the department there, and was told that their board of directors wanted teachers to have a degree higher than their students. And I didn't have a master's degree. I only had a bachelor's of fine arts. So I left that interview with, despite my 40 years of experience in the business, I left kind of a little dejected, and I happened to go over to the Cultural Alliance in Danbury, and I saw a brochure there for the writing program. I've been writing all along. I've had plays that have won awards. I'm still waiting to get a full-length play produced. I've had lots of short plays produced. I didn't want to go to Yale. I didn't want to be driving a million miles to go to school. And I thought, wow, a 2-year program, and I could just write. And so I applied, and within the month I got accepted. And that August I entered their non-resident, low-resident program. And it was fantastic.
Tell us about the acting. You went on and you've performed in film and television and all kinds of things that I saw on the website. What was it like performing professionally?
Amazing. You'd walk off stage in a Broadway house on Thursday night, and a man would be standing there with your check. Actors will do it for free. We love it. To get paid to be an actor is an amazing gift.
From there, How long were you an actor before you've been starting to write plays? Is there a time frame that you were doing both or doing it separately?
There's a time frame. I was on a national tour and then Broadway. I did Fiddler on the Roof with Zero Mostel and with Herschel Bernardi. I got the amazing opportunity to work directly with Jerome Robbins. That was a fantastic experience. Came off the road and had money in my pocket, basically. And I sat down and started writing. I think someone had given me a screenplay that they had written, and I read it and I thought, oh, I can do this. And so I started writing on an old IBM Selectric. And I sat there for months writing first a 330-page draft of a novel, and then 440-page second draft of a novel, and then I had an idea for a screenplay which got optioned, but they told me that since I hadn't written a screenplay before, they would hire someone else to write my story. And then I got very insulted by that, so I decided to write another project, and that one got optioned, and it just seemed to snowball. But the problem is that I could write my first draft. I had no clue how to rewrite, and that's 90% of the job, I think. So going back after all those years, I needed to get the master's degree because I wanted to teach in the public university system. Going back as a theater student seemed kind of redundant to me after 50 years of experience. And so I decided to take that opportunity to delve into the writing. And those 2 years had me working with mentors that taught me about structure, that pointed me to books that I could read, that helped with developing a project, rewriting a project, how to structure and formulate a project.
I think the question probably that the viewer is wondering is, you've had so many years as an actor and years as a playwright. Are you still doing both presently? We're here in 2025. Are things still going on today?
I'm still doing both.
You're still doing both. Tell us now, you have a class coming up that you're going to teach at Western, is that correct?
I'm going to teach playwriting in the fall. Yeah. The classes that I taught before were either acting or an introduction to theater for non-theater majors, which at times was like root canal, because I'd have students who'd never set foot in a theater before. And that was very interesting, trying to go back and talk about the history of theater and engage them in the subject. My mission was not necessarily to create thespians, but to create next year's audience. So to give them an interest in theater that would make them want to go to the theater.
Is there an interest that you have today that you like the best? Is it acting? Is it playwriting? Is it teaching? What are the things that you like to do the most?
I think the most right now is the writing. I've been having vocal problems thanks to reflux. Anybody's going through that. I have a almost chronic cough. If I stop in the middle, it's because that cough is still there. So writing is something I can do all the time on my own. I belong to a number of workshops. I belong to the Actor Studio Playwright and Directors Unit in New York. I belong to the Theater Artists Workshop here in Connecticut. It's the opportunity, I have the opportunity to put my work up as much as I want here in Connecticut, to hear it, to get feedback, to develop it. And, you know, with acting, you need either to self-produce or to get someone to hire you. With writing, you just do it.
With the writing, do you recommend getting involved in the organizations that you've just mentioned? Is there a way to network to get your work out there?
As far as networking to get your work out there, networking is important everywhere. The groups that I belong to are mostly developmental. They're not there to support you to get your work out there. There are websites, there are opportunities. There's the Playwright Center out of Massachusetts that I pay monthly, and they present opportunities. There's New York City Playwrights, which is a listing. and it tells you where theaters are looking, and you can submit. Like anything, you really have to be self-motivated.
What does the future look like for you? I know we're going to talk, we still have some time in the show, but will you still be performing as well as writing? What does 25-26 look like for you?
25-26 is going to be a very interesting year. I do belong to something called the Flagpole Radio Cafe here in Newtown, which is kind of like our version of a Prairie Home Companion. It's live music, original sketch comedy. We have guest stars. Just this Saturday night, we had Willie Nile, and we have another show coming up on May 10th. At Edmontown Hall. Please come. It's a great show. And that's going to star Jonathan Brooks. I have a novel coming out in July of 2026, so that developmental edit is going to start in September of 25. I have a play that was just read last night, based on Bertolt Brecht's short play. It's a 6-page play called The Jewish Wife. It's part of his collection from Fear, I think it's Fear and Misery in the Third Reich. And I, as an actress, played the lead role of Judith Keith several times. And the last time I got off stage, I was just consumed with a notion of what happens to this woman. And so I came home and started extrapolating on Brecht's work. And now we're in discussions with the Bertolt Brecht estate to get permission to present this as a full-length evening. The first reading went very, very well. I'm very excited about it.
Okay, let's hold that thought and take a break. I'm Deborah Gilbert. You're tuned into Arts and Entertainment. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how's sketches, vaping? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes, look at that. You even turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you have to get it trending. Right, Backpack Kid?
Let's do it.
First, invite your kid to do the vape talk. Let's try this. All right.
Why is he here?
Yeah, I gotta get it trending, honey.
Come on.
To the left. To the right. Let's go.
Oh, honey, can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
I see a lot of your friends vaping.
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
And welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, I hope you're enjoying the show. My conversation continues on with Kate Katcher. And Kate, what I don't want to forget is katekatcher.com, the website. What will the viewer find when they visit it?
I haven't looked at it in a while. Listings of the plays that I've written, some short synopsis of them, my acting reel, and a bunch of short films that I've done. Information on how to contact me, information on my careers, my separate careers, because I seem to wear many hats. So as an actor, as a writer, as a director, things that I've done. And hopefully people will be attracted to it and call me and say, hey, would you like to work together?
You're mentioning directing. Tell us about that.
Wow. I started taking directing classes back in college, and quickly came to the conclusion that I didn't have the temperament for it because I would get frustrated if somebody didn't understand what I was trying to get at. I've come back to it in later years. For a number of years, I had the Stray Cats Theater Company here in Newtown. We started back in 2000 and I think 5 or 6, and we presented staged readings of contemporary classics and new works, and I directed them. And then after 3 years, we presented our first 2 full productions. Unfortunately, our first production opened 3 weeks after the tragedy at Sandy Hook Elementary School. And so we kind of limped through that season. And I was exhausted by it. For the next couple of years, we did a festival of one-act plays by, for, and about senior citizens called Still Crazy After All These Years. And then the pandemic hit. And it was a little like being a one-armed paper hanger. I just couldn't keep it going, and I got very tired, so I decided to put it on the back burner. As far as my directing is concerned, mostly things through the Theater Artist Workshop that other playwrights will come to me and say, can you help me on this? And some of my own work as well.
Well, you have so many different hats that you've put on, if you will, through the years as an artist. Is there a way for the viewer that's watching us now to be able to pursue the same path that you've done? Are you recommending education, networking you've mentioned? What are some of the things they can do to get started?
Networking is important. If you want to get started and just throw your hat in the ring, community theaters are obviously, get involved with your local community theater. But I cannot stress enough the importance of studying, education. Everybody thinks they can do this, and maybe they can. But to do it well, you have to have an understanding of human behavior, of structure, of the willingness to show a part of yourself that you might not necessarily show in real life. That's a skill. When I teach acting, most of it is about breaking down behavior. It's about recognizing what you're feeling and being able to replicate it, being able to share it with someone else. It's like, okay, this is an example I give to my students. If you sat down at a piano and half the keys were missing, it doesn't matter how you want to, you wouldn't be able to play that instrument. It's like playing a guitar with loose strings. So you, as an actor, your body, your voice, your thought process, those are your tools as an actor. That is your guitar, that is your piano, and you need to learn how to play it. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, yes. Lauren Yarger, the co-founder of the League of Professional Theater Women, you're a member, I'm a member, I adore her, she's a guest often, recommended that you come on the program, and I'm thrilled that you're here. Is it a good organization to get involved in?
It's a great organization to get involved in. You meet people from all over the state. There's a chapter in New York, so you meet people from there as well. It's a great networking opportunity. It's a great opportunity to sit and have lunch with people who are of like mind and like ability, like ambitions. It's a great community.
Okay, so we just mentioned a little bit about the calendar, 25, 26. Have you thought about the next few years? Are there things that you want to accomplish?
I want to survive.
You want to start what?
Survive. My grandmother had an expression. My grandmother had an expression, the sun shines brightest when it comes out late. I've been doing this for a really long time. I am reaching a level of recognition that I've never had before. And I'm not a kid. So, the idea that my novel will be hitting the stands on July 9th, and I will be turning 75 on June 22nd of that year, it's daunting. Most important to me is to keep my health and to keep my strength up and to be able to enjoy the things that are coming my way at this stage of my life.
The writing that you've mentioned of a novel that's coming out, what kind of writing do you like to do? It sounds as if you've done all types of writing.
I didn't know I could write a novel. I wrote a novel many, many years ago, and it's in a box on the bottom of my closet because I didn't know how to rewrite it. I went to a seminar a couple of years ago with literary agents, and I was like the only playwright in the room. The others were all young adult writers, nonfiction writers. And so I asked a question about, are you interested in talking to playwrights? And the answer was a unilateral no, which really upset me. And the reason is because there's not a lot of money for agents in playwriting. Unless you already have, like John Patrick Shanley, he's no problem. Unless you already have a track record, they're not interested in wasting their time promoting playwrights because there's very little return in it. But what they said to me was, if you have a novel that we can then turn around and sell to be written as a screenplay, we're interested. So I went home from that seminar and I took out this project called 36. Actually, it was called The 36th Line at the time. It's a play that I wrote many, many years ago. It won the Dorothy Silver Playwriting Competition in its very first draft. I have had readings of it, very successful readings of it, great feedback on it. I have not yet had a full production of it. I took that play out and I set it next to my laptop and I started extrapolating, because a play is a skeleton. Jeffrey Spencer says that plays aren't even literary forms because they're not complete until you have the collaboration of actors and a director and a set design and costume design. They are, on the page, they're not necessarily fulfilling to read. I took this play out and I used it as an outline to write the book. And on every page of the play, I asked myself questions. Who are these people? What do they want? What are they doing? Questions I would ask myself if I was preparing for the role as an actress. And I just started writing. I started writing background. When you're an actor and you're developing your character, sometimes you'll write a biography of that character. It's not part of the play. It just helps inform who you are as an individual person, as a real person, a full character. And I did that with every character, with every short scene, and suddenly I had a novel. And I sent it out, didn't have a literary agent. I sent it out to a couple of publishing companies that had open submission policies. I immediately got 2 hybrid offers, which I wasn't interested in because that's where the playwright or the writer helps pay for the publication of the book. And I didn't want to deal with that. I sent it out to a third one, Vine Leaves Press in Great Britain. And they got back to me and said, we love this. At the time, it was a novella length. It was only about 80 pages. And they said, we feel that there's a lot more here and that you should keep working on it and resubmit it. So I did. I sat down with it for maybe another 6 months to a year, and I kept extrapolating and going back. And now this 90-minute play that takes place in a 2-week period in 1984 now goes back to 1898 all the way up to 1984. It includes 3 generations of a family, a lot of backstory, a lot of my own history got involved in it. And they got back to me and said, yes, we want to publish it. So that's what's coming out.
It's so exciting. Well, we are starting to run out of time. Do you have any closing thoughts for the viewer? We have probably a lot of people that are very interested in your varied career. I mean, you have so much to offer.
I don't, the advice, if your heart says do something, do it. One of the hardest things to learn is to accept constructive criticism, to be able to hear, you know, even for a long time in my writing, if someone said something to me, I took it as a correction. Like when you're back in school and the teacher corrects your work, you feel like you have to go and fix it. And learning to discern what you want as opposed to what you're hearing. Take what you need, leave the rest. Don't be stymied by it. Don't be derailed by it. Have faith in what you want to say and what you want to accomplish. Be willing to change it, be willing to fix it, but don't take them as corrections. Take them as suggestions.
Okay, well, I want to thank you very much for being here. It's been a wonderful show.
Thank you.
Well, I'm Deborah Gilbert. You've been tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. In case you need to reach me, I'm at artsandentertainment@mail.com. Well, I hope you have a super day today. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'll see you next time.